The Union 0430 is brought to you by Real Geese, the most technologically advanced silhouettes ever produced.
Yeah. Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Union 0430. It is episode 49. One more to go to the big 5-0. Missing a couple of the lads. Philly is working tonight. Ryan just moved into a beautiful new home on top of Brow Mountain, and he's probably still trying to get some internet squared away up there. But we do have Mark back from Newfoundland, and he's here just outside of Ottawa. Dave looking fine, sporting his First Light shirt and his new canoe hat. He's up in Kincardine. And tonight we have our very first Quebecer on the show. We have Mr. Francois Luneau, who is the head of Challenger's ambassador staff, all around good dude, knows a lot about Challenger ammo. Super awesome guy. It was an honor to meet him and shoot with him last fall. And so we're going to get talking about Challenger ammo and all the good things that they got going on. But first, just wanted to thank everybody for all of the support we've got over the last couple of weeks, especially with Real Geese coming on. I know there's a bunch of people that's waiting on the draw for 3 dozen Real Geese silhouettes right now. That'll be done. Well, by the time you see this video, it'll already be happening. So that really doesn't make no sense for me to even bring that up because it's already going to happen because I'm going to do it on Thursday. So that'll be it. So Frank, buddy, finally, it's been almost a year since we started talking, and since we came on board with Challenger after you and Dan Rochette reached out to us and said, hey, listen, I think you guys really should start looking at Challenger ammo and stuff. So Dave and I, tried it, loved it. Hung out with you and the full Challenger team down in Montreal last fall. Finally got you on the show, finally able to answer some questions and be able to get the word out about Challenger Ammunition and just how good a product it is, and time to kill some of these myths that's out there with it. So thanks so much for coming on the show, buddy.
Thanks for the invite. I'll be sure to answer all the questions, and hope everyone's gonna shoot Challenger after that. I'm pretty certain our phones are going to be ringing off. But you brought it up before we started recording. Like it's crazy right now. Like the shop, the factory, and I just wanted to say this. Like this is a Canadian company. This is in Montreal. It's made in Montreal or just outside Montreal. The factory is outside Montreal. The owner lives in Montreal. The president lives in Montreal.
Oh,
so,
the president, yes, sorry.
Yeah, the president. So Elise Arifé is the president who started this business in 1983 because he couldn't find affordable ammos, quality ammos to shoot because he's a professional shooter. So he started this company from scratch. And now the company is, like I said, he's the president, but it's owned now by a European holding. So we know they got big holdings over there, and they got big companies underneath. So Challenger is one of them. So yeah, it's still made in Quebec. It's still, like I say, it's still owned or like I say, controlled by a Montreal guy. So yeah.
No, awesome. And you brought up about Ellie being a professional shooter. If you think you're a good shot and you want to be humbled, go hang out and watch Ellie start making shots behind his back and shooting clay pigeons out of the air.
At only 40, 50 yards at least behind his back. 20 yards, he's gonna smoke them. 40, 50s, he's gonna smoke them all too. He's a hell of a shooter for sure. You've seen him.
Yeah, I've seen him. And I watched him and his son go
It's,
head to head for $100 one time, and guess who ended up owing who $100?
the dad for sure.
Mm-hmm.
The dad won for sure. And
Yeah.
sorry, Dave, you missed that day, but damn, we had a freaking good time.
Yeah, we did. We had an awesome good time.
Yeah, they opened the ski parcours just for us, but we were shooting underneath the cabin with the bees and everything.
Yeah, the wasps and everything.
Wasp. Yeah, it was sharp. Yeah.
And that was
the problems with living on the other side of Ontario, right?
Yeah. But that was the big thing. Like, that was one of the big things that drew Dave and I to Challenger, was the fact that, you know, when you had brought it up to us and you had said, Ellie will absolutely not accept anybody to be part of his ambassador program until he meets them. And that said a lot to us. You know what I mean? Like, it told us the type of company that he's running, and just how interested he is in knowing who he's having represent his brand, right? So, you know, for me, it's easy. Dave couldn't make it just for logistical reasons, but for me and Dan Rochette, you know, it was an hour and a half drive, and we were there and got to meet him and chat, and with his son Carl and Arnaud, his operations manager, you know, and get to hang out and chat. And then you also had other ambassadors for Challenger there too. So it was a great day. Lots of learning, lots of shooting, lots of laughs. So it was great.
And if you look at like the ambassador team for now, we got like different kind of dudes, you know. We got both of you with your background in the Army and everything. Yeah. You got me with the marketing background or something. I got a big mouth and everything, and I love hunting, I love shooting, I love knowing what I do and what I say too. And then on the other side, you got Martin that you met. Martin is the kind of funny guy. He's a very good guy. He's a very good hunter. He's Martin. If everyone knows Martin, he's Martin. And you got Thaddeus, who's a biologist with the CWFT. So yeah, we got a big background. We got like a good team with all our little like
our own
assets we can bring to Challenger.
I just figured it out last week that Thaddeus was doing the one. If I said that right, if I said it wrong,
Thaddeus.
He's the guy doing that West Nile study for the CWTF.
Yep, that's it.
And I was like, the guy like connected to that guy. That's pretty awesome. It's good work he's doing.
Yeah. And if you look at his Facebook page, he's always posting meal pictures, foraging pictures, mushroom. Damn. If something's happened in this world, I'm going to his chalet. I'm going to be okay. We're going to hunt and eat from the land for sure.
The zombie apocalypse.
Myself when it comes to turkeys, I pride myself in getting as much meat off of that turkey as I can, right?
Yeah.
And it takes a lot to impress me. The first time I was ever impressed with turkeys was Jason Sear, who's a taxidermist, and just how cleanly he was able to get the meat off. I was like, wow, well, then Thaddeus showed that picture the other week, and the amount of meat he got off that bird and how clean and beautiful it looked and how well he did. I was like, man, who is this guy? Like, where did he learn? And then last week I figured out, he's the biologist for the CWT. There you go. He has a lot of experience with that.
Yeah.
But it is a good team. It is a good team, and it's a good team that you put together, Frank, that, you know, listen, we know that. I guess we should put out the disclaimer. Like, if anybody wants to join the ambassador team, just call Frank, because he's ready to take on. No, but seriously, like, you've built this team yourself. You picked the people, talked to Ellie, and, you know, and did your thing, and you've created a great team. Now, you've created a great team to go along with an upgraded product, because there were some myths out there about Challenger ammunition, and the most common one we would see, especially last fall when we would make a post about Challenger ammo, was that it was burning dirty, and I would say, well, I'm shooting a gas gun and it doesn't burn dirty for me. But then you had explained some things that Challenger had done. So I guess what I'm looking for is for you to try and give an answer on why some people think it burned dirty and why I'm saying it doesn't burn dirty anymore.
All right, now I'll just start with the ambassador team again, just to close it down. I started this team with another buddy of mine that now has left the team like 3 years ago, with the old with the guy who was the place of Arnaud before, who was Pierre Danier. Right. And then he introduced, I would know Dan Rochette from name and everything on Facebook, but this guy like presented to me. I'm like, okay, let's give him a chance and everything. Let's go. So Dan Rochette is 2 in the team. So after that, when my buddy left, I became the only one head chief ambassador for Challenger. So I continue the legacy for sure, and I'm going to try to make the best team out of it. And one thing I always say to everyone who wants to jump in, or even people who are like in the team or my friends, like, how do you choose the guy to get to be in the team? Like, I choose them for sure, but I look at what they can bring to the team. And I'm not going to do like other companies without spotting anyone, but taking everyone on the team, You've seen a lot of people, oh, I'm for this company, or I'm from, and then it just add up, and like, I think it dilutes the product, Yeah. It's like everyone can be on the team, so okay, no problem. No, you have to bring something to the team except just your name or Facebook or Instagram or,
I got a good story. I'm not sure if I ever told you this story. But I don't know, probably about halfway through the season last year, I get a message from a person that's been on the show and the whole bit. And, I get this message and they were like, how are you liking Challenger Ammunition? I said, I love it. I said, I've been shooting it all fall. I'm knocking birds down. It's doing what it's supposed to do and stuff like that. And they were like, that's a pretty sweet gig you got going on with Challenger. And I said, well, what do you mean? And he was like, well, that you're part of the Punisher's part of Challenger now. And I was like, yeah. And they were like, so what kind of a deal did you get? And I'm like, what are you talking about, a deal? And they were like, well, you're part of Challenger. I was like, do you think I get free ammo? And they were like, well, don't you? And I'm like, no. I was like, what do you think? Do you think that Challenger's just giving us like cases of free ammo? I was like, no, it doesn't work like that. I said, I can get, like you can go just like you alluded to. There's 100 different companies out there, and you can it's not hard to get on with any company really, if you're a hunter. But for us, for Dave and I, we really, we put a lot of thought into the fact that, Ellie wanted to meet us. It was a Canadian company. We didn't reach out to you guys. You guys reached out to us. Ellie says, well, we'll grow together. We'll grow Punisher together and we'll grow Challenger together. And that right there tells us a lot about what type of company Challenger Ammunition is and why we jumped on board with it. But,
like I always say, you don't work for us, we don't work for you, but we work together. And as a team, we could grow something, we could do something, Yeah. It's not a question of who's gonna be the best or who's gonna grow the biggest or the fastest. It's like growing together or building something up that's gonna bring us to something, Yeah. So yeah, that's it.
So let's go to the original question.
With the dirty question?
Yeah, with the dirty question. There you go.
So a couple time ago, like a couple years ago, I've been shooting Challenger for at least, let's say 13 years, okay? So I've known the golden shells, I've known the green shells that we still have for the 3.5 inch waterfall shots. And now we're with the orange one with the 3-inch, and the 3.5-inch are going to come in orange, like maybe late this year, but they're going to be for sure on the market next year, because we still have like a couple of green shells to make. So yeah, the question about the slow burning or the dirty shells, it dirty my guns. My gun is always dirty. It's jam. It has been solved. They changed a little bit of their recipe. They used a new primer. They changed the primer. So the primer, let's say it's more powerful, or it gives a better spark to ignite the powder. So all the powder is gonna be burned approximately at the same time, But I've heard from other people, other hunter, hey, when I'm shooting up in the skies with any shells company, I get sometimes powder in my eyes. It's like, yeah, it's normal. Nothing is perfect in the world, so any shells can have a little problem here and there. If you find a perfect shell that always burn equally, that always has its velocity, the same impact, the same pattern and everything, okay, I'm going to be sold to it. But if I got something that it's quality, it's made with rigorous condition and everything, I'm going for Challenger for sure.
Yeah. No, absolutely, buddy.
And it's just like you said, we talked about this before, stuff that we were going to talk about on the show, but like you said, one person has a bad experience, they're going to tell 10 people, and those people are going to be like, oh, well, I heard, and then it's going to kind of become out there. But you don't hear the people that are like, man, this stuff shoots really good, my gun stays clean. Like, you don't hear those people, because the naysayers are louder, and it's harder to change the voice of those naysayers than it is to change the voice of the happy opinion, right? So
yeah. Hey, go for it, Mark.
Just like when somebody wants to put a review on something on the internet, chances are they're going to be more motivated to do it if they have a negative opinion on something.
Yep.
So those are the ones that are there, and they're the ones you see because someone actually took the time to do it, because they had a negative situation and they were pissed or something, so they did it. You don't, for every negative one, you're missing a pile of good ones, right? And that's with anything. Just to go along with the clean burning, a few years ago I started shooting Challenger as a target load. I won't shoot anything else as a target load anymore, because when you're shooting 250 to 500 shells in a day, and you're using a gas gun, like Damien's saying, if you're using a dirty load, and I'm gonna use other brands because I know which ones are dirty. I know Remington target loads are dirty. That's all there is to it. And now it would actually cause, and my gun doesn't jam, not very much, and those would cause my gun by the end of it to start jamming. And the difference between that and using the Challenger load was night and day for me. I mean, it was so clean. I could fire all 500 shells in a case, and the gun would still be functioning flawlessly at the end. There'd be some dirt. You just fired 500 shells through your gun in 2 hours, but they would all work, and the gun will be significantly cleaner than when I use the other one. So my experiences with Challenger have been nothing but positive since the beginning. I wasn't involved in shooting them a long time ago, but the last few years, that's where I'm at with them.
That's great to hear.
Well, I can tell you that at the local skeet club here, the day that I walked in with target load in my bag, there was a lot of people wondering where I was getting my target load from, because they weren't able to get, it was all sold out in this area, right? And I'm like, well, luckily for you guys, I know the people that can get target load in, so let's do it, and let's start bringing Challenger into more stores up here.
That's spread the world.
Yeah, but the only way that that's going to happen is if people are going to the stores and saying, hey, listen, I want this ammo, because the stores will carry it if there's a demand for it, right? So I agree with you, Mark. It's clean burn. I go to the skeet club with the same gun that I shoot birds with, and And that's what I use. And now I don't have any experience with anything else, but I've got a gas gun, and it'll easily handle a day at the ski club, no problem.
Yeah, but it's like again with the burning shell and everything, and it's the phenomena of like, my gun is better than yours, or I'm better than you, so I don't need to clean my gun because my shell is not. That's the new phenomena we've seen a lot growing up, like on the internet, like the keyboard behind the bullier behind the keyboard and everything. It's like, why are we as waterfowler or hunters can't like be happy for our neighbors or something? We always have to do. I don't know if it's the same thing in Ontario. I think
It
yes,
is.
because
It is.
in Quebec it's like it's a problem for sure. I see it as a problem because everyone wants to be like better than the other, or it's bad. But like we said, when you're happy with a product, you're not the first one who's gonna go make a review on the internet site or something. But when you're not happy, it's like you're gonna talk to everyone about it, and then it's gonna grow up like a snowball. And then the second person who's gonna hear that it's cheap and it's dirty ground. And, yeah, I've heard this. My friend is telling me that it's shit. Have you tried it? No. Why are you saying that it's shit then?
Yeah.
I've been hunting for a year now, and I've heard Challenger is bullshit. Okay, you've been hunting for only a year, and you can tell right now with tests and everything that it's bullshit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you a box right there. Go shoot them and come back to me after that.
And
they're not gonna come back to you because they're gonna be like,
yeah.
Oh man, I was wrong. I'm not gonna go back to him. No, I'm gonna continue saying it's bullshit. But I'm gonna buy some on the side.
Yeah.
I've seen this, and I've got a guy now who's buying hammos, Challenger only. He's selling Challenger on the internet. He's talking about Challenger every time. He's like, before that, he was a non-Challenger at all. He was like, Challenger is bullshit. And then he made a post on Facebook on one of our groups. He was looking for shells. I'm like, you're right beside my house. You're like 15 minutes away from me. Come here. I'm going to give you 50 rounds. I'm going to give them to you. Oh, no. I'm going to wait. No, you're going to find nothing at 9 o'clock overnight. It's all closed. So he came in. I gave him 50 rounds in a bucket. And he was like, cool. The bucket is nice. Cool. Okay. First thing good for Challenger, right? And then the second day he called me, he was like, okay, I'm going to buy a case for sure, a flat for sure, like next month to try it. And then, and now he's always asking me, where can I find this product? Is there any in the store? I'm like, I don't know, call the store. I don't know the inventory. So
yeah,
we got to grow up the brand. We got to talk about the brand. We got to like put some gold on the name for sure right now, you know?
Yeah. But at the end of the day, I like the way that Challenger is going about it, because you're going at it in a very methodical way. And what I mean by that is that you don't have 200 people on social media promoting this is the best. I know people that promote a brand that don't shoot that brand. Do you know what I mean? Like I know it. I hunt with them. I see what they shoot, and what they promote and what they shoot are two totally different things, right? So with that, we don't need to go down that rabbit hole. I did want to bring up something though, because Dave told me, I didn't get this. I didn't hear it from you, Frank, but Dave told me that
we're not talking about that.
No,
that's top secret, man.
Oh,
yeah.
What's top secret?
Top secret.
I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, to message him and tell him.
Yeah. I'm going to shoot you a message right now, Frank.
Go for it.
And you tell me if we can talk about it or not.
Frank.
Coming to you right now.
Okay. Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
Dave could be thinking about there's another thing too, and I'm thinking the other thing might be what Dave's talking about, not what I'm talking about.
About steel or
No, I just sent it to you.
Yeah, I've
But
got
actually,
your
there was
message.
something, Francois, that you told me about that Challenger has that maybe people don't know about.
Gauge.
No, I was talking about the type of steel shot, like the
Oh, okay,
non-toxic
okay.
shot.
So the tungsten shot. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We can talk about it later if you want. No problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
What
Yeah,
about
if you can spread the word and business starts to order some, it's gonna be good.
what I sent you? Are we allowed to talk about that?
Oh, or we can talk about the 20 gauge for sure. But as I can say for now, steel shot in 20 gauge, it's not in the nearest future at all. For sure, it's getting more and more and more more and more like
Popular.
yeah, popular in Canada and then in the US. There's a market for sure for it. Then we just gotta bring the option. Like the option is on the table, the idea is on the table, but it's on a stop for it right now. It's on a stop. It's something we want for sure.
Yeah.
It's something I always bring upon because like girls hunting, it's like a little bit less recoil, and let's say it's a little bit less recoil because like I was talking with Dave yesterday, I think.
Yep.
He told me, is it through a 3-inch 20 gauge will kick more than a 12 gauge 2 3/4? So I'm like, it depends, because for the same charge, same velocity, a 12 gauge and 20 gauge will hit the same. So if you take a 7.5 ounces versus 1.5 ounces of lead in 12 gauge and in 20 gauge, 12 gauge gonna hit more. Or if you got like a 7.8 ounces on the 12 gauge and you got 1.25 ounces on the 20 gauge, the 20 gauge gonna hit more. It's all about the charges in the shell and the velocity of it. So
not necessarily the gauge of the shotgun. It's the
The payload and the velocity.
There we go.
Yeah.
Payload and velocity. That's it. Yeah.
That's a good segue there into talking about what payload is on a shell there.
Yeah.
If you want to go through like a few of the different sizes of payload there and what they mean, like what they're actually like, is it the black powder that they're weighing, or is it the actual shell weight, or what all? I'll let you take that one, Francois. And
all right. So for example, if we take like our new shell from an innovation from this year, it's the number 6 on 3-inch 1.25 ounce steel shots. So perfect for duck. That's the perfect recipe to sting those buggers. You shoot a wall of BBs to the ducks. I've been using it for the last 2 years. It was like a little secret we had, me and my buddies. Last year we made only 10 flats of it, and the year before they only made for us 7 flats of it. That's it. That's all. It was not commercialized. No one knew about it but me. So for example, we take the 3-inch. Everybody knows a 3-inch. It's when it's open. It's not when it's closed. It's when it's open. You know. No, you got a 3-inch, Dave.
Love it.
And then so the full length of the shot shell, it's when it's open, when it's fired. You know, when it's closed, it's not gonna measure 3-inch or 3.5 inch or 2 3/4. While I'm here, everybody's like, hey, why your 3.5 inch is smaller than the 3.5 inch of Kent or Federal Remington? The reason why behind this, it's like the American cycling, let's say, chamber for the guns are a little bit smaller than the European one. So LD came with the idea, let's shorter the wad and everything. Let's do something shorter, from an 1/8 inch to like a 1/16 inch. So we were gonna make sure that any gun's gonna eject flawlessly the shells. So that's why Challenger 3.5 inch are a little bit smaller than the other company.
Okay.
And then if we go in the 1.25 ounces or 1.5 ounces or 1.5 ounces, it's the weight of the BBs inside of your shells. So it's the payload. Okay. So that's what it's about. It's not how many powder in it or something. It's the weight of the BBs in it. So after that, you got the length, you got the powder. It's the maximum powder you can put. Challenger is doing tests to get the pressure perfect, to get like the velocity between. I could say, for example, the 3-inch 1 ounce and 8 goes 1550 feet per second. The 1 ounce and a quarter goes 1450, and the 3-inch and a half, 1 ounce and a half goes 1500 feet per second. So, yeah. Do you have some more question, Dave, for me?
No, I think you covered it there pretty well.
Okay.
And it's good because we just wanted to keep it basic because we don't know.
Yeah.
And anyone that's listening, like, you might be a super experienced hunter, but we also want to try and appease the people that maybe don't even know what a 20 gauge is versus a 12 gauge, or so bring it back to the simplicity of the actual weight that's inside there of the actual.
It's a payload. Yeah.
The payload,
I'm normally a number 4 on ducks.
Okay.
But now you're saying this number 6 was really good last year, Frank?
It was not even just last year. It was the 2 years ago. The 2 last year, we've been shooting it. We have been testing it. It's amazing what job it does. Yeah, for sure. You got a lot of BBs in the bird after that. Yeah, for sure. You shooting, like, for example, if I can just check my chart a second. If we go with steel shot number 6 in 1 ounce and a quarter, it's 394 BBs. And if we go with the number 4, you got 240. So
Wow.
it's 154 more BBs that goes to the target. Okay.
Wow.
So for sure, you may have a little bit more steel in your teeth, between your teeth when you eat it or something, but it gives you.
Doesn't matter because my
No,
wife finds them all anyway.
Just buy a metal detector, you're gonna be all right. or just got a good insurance, good dental insurance, you're gonna be all right.
and if you get the number 6 versus the number 4, it goes down easier, right?
Yeah, that's right.
You don't feel it. You don't feel it.
So you know what? But there's another question. Why do we call number 6 and number 4? Like,
it's all like, for that I don't want to go away. I don't want to go in it because I don't want to say anything wrong, but it's all about the diameter. I'm just gonna look over here something. No, I got it in inches. It's like number 6. It's like 0.11 inches or 2.79 millimeters. But I don't know why they call it number 6 or where it comes from, though. No, I can't tell you.
Oh,
So
that's awesome. So if you don't know why it's called that, and because I certainly don't know why it's called that.
I'm only an ambassador too, right? So
yeah. So you know what? That's a good question that maybe we need to find out, and because I'm sure the millions and millions
looking for it right now.
Millions. Yeah, I don't want to say. I don't want to say it wrong, but it has to do with the amount of pellets that you can fit.
Yeah.
On the length of the actual size.
Okay. It could be.
I want to get the
something.
actual.
It could be something.
So while you guys are searching that up, because I would like to know the absolute right answer on this.
Yeah.
So Mark, I gave you some Challenger ammo last year to try for shooting birds, which you did. Dave, how much did you give out last year to people that have never tried? And did you ever get any feedback? I know Frank got some feedback on people, but generally the people I gave it to, they all came back super happy with it. Just wondering about you, what were the reviews that you got?
So I actually found that I was giving, I think I gave 5 cases away, like individually with all the people, and like, how many did I start with? I think I started with 10 and I'm down to less than 1 now. And yeah, I think 5 of them I gave away. Just anytime someone would come out hunting with me, I'm like, hey, try these. And or like I'd be shooting it and someone else would be shooting something else. And I'll be like, hey, take this. And next time you hunt, try this. And have you ever seen those memes with Dave Chappelle where he's got the white powder under his nose?
Yeah.
And he's like,
You
got any more of that? Well,
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
kind of like that with the Challenger. It's like, got any more of those Challenger shells, right?
That's funny.
But no, up here where I am, it's actually a bit so that the local gun shop actually shut down there last year, just before duck and goose season. And then there wasn't anywhere, like you'd have to drive half an hour just to get to a place where you could get shot shells. So I was fortunate I had a pretty big stockpile, but yeah, so a lot of guys, like, I'm not sure. Yeah, they all loved it. They all wanted to shoot more of it. So it was good.
I still remember the day that you come by and picked up all your ammo and you had that fucking Mud Buddy in the back of your minivan too. Mud Buddy all in perts in the back of his minivan. And then he had to pick up like 6-7 cases of ammo as well. So it was,
and the wife was not happy. Like,
no.
a torn apart motor in the back of the van. Like,
yeah, it was funny. I wanted to touch a little bit more on the fact, just on Ellie and him being the president and the fact that he's a professional shooter. Carl, now his son, has taken over and owns the Montreal Ski Club. So that whole relationship, like, between, listen, we're producing a product. We have arranged probably, and the first time I done, what's it called? Is it called 5 stand? Was that?
It's what we did first. It was the skeet one, and then we went to the 5 stand. Yeah,
5 stand. So if anybody, if you've never shot 5 stand, please give it a try, because it is some of the most fun you'll ever have on a range.
It's challenging.
Very much so. But it is a family owned or family ran operation. And it's not just, I guess what I'm trying to say is that it's your next door neighbor that's shooting it, that's testing it. It's not in a, I don't know what I'm really trying to say. I'm trying to break it down to the fact that it is actual hunters. Like Carl's a hunter. You want to see a duck boat, go to the Montreal Ski Club, because it makes my rig look like something out of the minor leagues, because he's got 2 Mud Buddies.
2 Mud Buddies, 40 HPs behind the 20. I think it's a 21 or a 20 or a 21.
Yeah.
Not John Boat, but it's
modified.
It's not from. Yeah, it's super low profile. It's that boat is humongous, but wow, so nice.
Yeah.
So nice.
So like it's everyday dudes that own it, that's promoting it, that's using it, that's it says a lot about the product, really.
Challenger says it's made by hunters for hunters. So that's how they call it. That's their little rig, if we can say. That's their little jig. It's made by shooter for shooter, or made by hunter for hunters. So Ellie, when he started this business up, he was like making his own recipe. He was shooting his own recipe, and he was selling his own recipe. He's the man behind all the recipe, and now spreading the word in the plant. But yeah.
Mark, I know I've done a lot of talking, and I know this is really in your wheelhouse when it gets into the science and the specifics of stuff. So I'm going to shut up for a little bit and let you pick Frank's brain there.
Actually, Frank, before we get too far away from it, we talked about number 6 and number 4 and the different sizes for birds.
Yeah.
Do you want to
You want me to talk about the chart I've sent you, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll do a big up to Serge Lacossière. He's a great hunter. He's well known in Quebec. He's a staff and distributor for Tim Groundcalls too. He's got a big connection with Hunter and his aunt, who's running the business right now since Tim passed away. Like I think it's 2 years ago with us four-wheeler ATVs accident. So this guy, I met him at the club. He's a member of the club too. I know him. I've seen him a couple of places around, like in shows and in salon and everything. And we always love to talk to each other like hunters and everything. And last time I went to the Montreal Ski Club, he talked to me about Tom Roster. Tom Roster is an American guy. He made studies about the non-toxic shots when it became like illegal to shoot with lead and everything on waterfall. And he made specific studies with all the range of BBs, the typical shot yardage you can do on large geese, small geese, medium geese, large dock, medium dock, small docks, and the size of the BBs you needed to have a lethal shot. He says you need 1 to 2 pellets to hit the bird at the good place. He's gonna die, that's for sure. 1 pellet in the head, the dock is not gonna fly it anymore. And with all the specific chokes you would need to shoot at that distance. So if you guys want to go look at Tom Roster, Tom Roster, ROSTRE, sorry. Go look at this chart. You're gonna find it's a Bible for me now. I always refer to this. So like I said, ducks, large duck like mallard or black duck or pintails, with steel you can go like from 4 to 6 to 2s without any problem. Going BBs is like overkilling the ducks. You can go with 3. The only thing you need is 1 ounce of the shot, 1 ounce of like payload. You can go like, it goes like how many minimum pellets you need in 30-inch circle to kill that duck at 20 to 45 yards, for example. It's 115 to 120 pellets. So it gives you all the information you need to find the perfect load or the perfect payload or the perfect shells for you to shoot what you're going to go at. So that's not my Bible, and it's perfect. So everyone, if you want to go look at that chart, it's called Tom Roster 2012 Non-Toxic Shock Lethality Table. And he made a video. I didn't have the chance and the time to go listen to it since turkey season started last Friday for me. But he made a video and it's all explained in it. You're seeing him literally shooting at ducks at 50, 60 yards, dropping him down. They did the study in not enclosed environment, but in a controlled environment, for example. And they've get back the dog, the wounded dogs, the dead dogs. They've checked the pellets in it, the penetration and everything to get to this table. So since I found this thing, wow, it's amazing. So when you see people saying on the internet, hey man, why are you shooting 6 or even 5 at big duck? You're gonna wound them. That's it. That's all, dude. For now, I got something to close to shut your mouth. Sorry, but it's been tested. It's been proven that you're gonna kill it but you gotta shoot on it. You don't gotta shoot behind or you gotta shoot on it. You're gonna kill it.
You can follow that chart as much as you want, but if you can't shoot a duck, you can't shoot a duck.
Yeah.
And like one of my big friends says, it's the jerk behind the trigger, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It is only a tool. It is only a guide, right? You still need to be able to properly shoot. We'll put that chart up on our own social media, and just so people can see it.
Refer to it or something, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's good. Like I see fellas that'll shoot BB Like all they buy is BB. They shoot BB all year long. Ducks or geese, it doesn't matter. It's
And
BB.
after that, find a mallard with all the BBs right in it that
Wow.
you've shot even at 25 or 30 yard.
Don't worry about the
Man,
mallard. Look at the teal that they're shooting with BB.
It's ground beef. It's already cooked.
Yeah.
We were hunting mallards the one time, and a bufflehead came in, and they were flying. There was a pair of them, and they're flying.
Yep.
And I hit the top one, and it dipped down lower than the bottom one. And then I was like, okay, I'll get the other one. And then all of a sudden, the bottom one dips back up, and from then on, I'm like, no, you need number 4 to get the penetration on those little bastards. Bufflehead.
Keeping in line with
Mark,
that.
sorry for cutting you off there, but I just want.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Keeping in line with that, and I do appreciate the few boxes of shells I got from Damien to try. However, unlike Damien, I like shooting geese, and so number 4, while it works great on ducks, I don't disagree for a second. That stuff works great on ducks. If you have the odd goose come in, I would much prefer to have number 2 in the gun.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that's it.
Ducks, and it's not over.
But if let's say big Canada geese that are gonna land 5 to 10 yards in front of you, like right in the spread. I've had my friends shooting number 6 to their head. Man, it was a bloody head after that.
Oh yeah, no, I agree. But Damien doesn't put any goose
shot.
decoys out.
Yeah, it was his first shot with number 6, and after that he goes with 2s and BBs, and that's it. You know, at big geese, I always shoot I always shoot BBs. I don't ask. I always have BBs for geese. Yeah.
You know, there's a guy I know, Damien, you met him, Daryl Poisson. You remember him? Whenever I hunted with him, he always used triple D.
Yep.
On everything.
Oh, even teal?
Yeah.
Everything. He said, hey, if it kills goose, kills duck, right?
Yeah. Hey.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Expensive loads, though.
Yeah.
Another thing that we talk about quite a bit is patterning our shot shells. We always talk about you put a piece of paper out and you shoot it, and you'll see like your spread there. But another thing that sometimes people don't grasp the concept of is that spread of that shot shell is all, it's a 3-dimensional, like it.
We lost Dave.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
So I'm just making sure people.
Okay. No, yeah, for sure.
Say that
Like
again,
you said.
Dave.
Yeah, you were like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, we've got 3. My son's playing video games. My wife's at work, like doing her online work, and so we're we always talk about patterning our shot shells, and we have the pattern is like a circle on a board.
It's a 2D. It's a 2D image. It's
but,
a 2D. Yep.
But when we shoot, it's actually 3D. So there
Yeah,
could
the
be
shot string.
pockets lengthwise as well as widthwise that people don't understand that part. And it's
the shot string.
And I can't afford to get ballistics gel to determine that, and a high speed camera to see like what the spread is fully, but it's just something to make people aware of that.
But the ballistic gel is going to only give you the penetration. You're going to need the slow-mo cam to see the shot string. So the 3D image of your shot string. And that's why after that, if we want to talk about it later on with chokes and everything, that's why all chokes company has their little different technologies in it to stop the wad or just to put a pressure on it to like slow it down a bit so the shot string shortens or the length of it is like more.
So go ahead, get into it now, Frank. Like talk about that shot string and talk about the choke tubes and the importance. Like I fear that there are so first off, we have a group of people that listen to the show that are new hunters, that are inexperienced, and they, you know, they go to Facebook. These are the same people that go on the Facebook groups that ask questions, and they get absolutely torn apart on Facebook for asking a question because of bullies, in my opinion. But so, you know, explain that shot string and the importance of, like you're saying, Dave, why we pattern our guns like we do. We pattern our guns every fall. We do it for turkey every year. We do it for ducks every year, and we pattern our gun. We find out where we are, and because you alluded to it, Frank, every choke tube is different.
Every gun is different. Every choke tube is gonna do something different. Every shot shell is not gonna give you the same pattern. Okay, it's gonna give you something that's gonna be look alike, but it's a shot shell, so it's like I said, it's like 400 BBs going down the same place. It's not like a rifle, so you cannot be sure if you just shoot one shot to the target and say, oh, that's my pattern. No, you got to shoot 2, 3, 4 shots to get an average of pattern you could get. After that, when you find your pattern on paper perfect, we're going to the shot string. The shot string can be longer than even 10 to 12 feet, and it can be shortened to, like, I think it's 6, 7, maybe 8 feet. You can shorten it down with different chokes. You can go with improved cylinder. It's going to be more open. Full is going to be more restricted. But after that, the shot string is what it's going to make you hit the bird. Like the bird's going to pass through it. You know, it's not like one single bullet, you miss it. No, you got like a cloud of pellets going to the bird in 3D, like Dave said. And the bird got to pass through it, or the pellets got to pass through the bird. I don't know if you want to see it, but that's what's gonna make like I say, how a shotgun works. You know, it's not only one pellet. It's one bullet. It's like a cloud. I like to call it a cloud of mosquitoes that's gonna hit the target. You know, it's gonna sting the target. So for sure, if you got a longer shot string, you may have a bit more chance to hit your bird, because the bird has to pass into 15 feet of pellets. But if you shorten it, okay, your pellets are going to be more dense, and when you're going to hit the dog, the dog's going to fold his wing, it's going to fall down, but you got a more chance to hit it. So then practice comes into it, to know your shot, to know your lead with the load you have, because yeah, for sure, 1550 feet per second or 1450 feet per second. At 40 yards, it's what? 2, 3 inches maximum of lead more or something. It's not that much, but you got to know your shot. You got to know your payload. You got to know your gun. You got to know everything. You know, it's practice, and you need to make your own work, you know?
And I find there's two types of guys out there. There's those guys that like the big dense pattern where you're shooting the high load and you have a ton of pellets out there, but you have a little bit less speed. And then there's those guys that like the high speed, but they might have a few less pellets. And it's kind of neat to talk about, because like Damien's from Kingston, so the Kingston guys have their one way, and then the guys up in Muskoka have their way, and then the guys where I am are kind of in between. You know, it's kind of neat to see, like, it's almost regionally what people like, you know?
It's like a story. Someone likes this, he's going to talk to his friend, and his friend's going to use this, and he's going to get used to this. And then he's going to do the same. So it's like from grandpa to papa to his kids, and then to the... So like you said, it depends on the region. I would say more it depends on the group of hunters that hunts together. Because I'm going to go meet another group of hunters. We're going to meet together in the same field. We're going to have the same permission. We're going to blend in. And they're going to shoot hypersonic. I'm going to shoot 1,400 feet per second. We're going to both drop birds. But do we use the same technique? Do we use the same thing? No. So, and like I said in first, my Beretta A350 is not going to shoot the same thing as another A350 from Beretta. They all have their little constriction in the board. It's not going to be the same. Even if you use the same choke, it's not going to be the same. Even if you use 2 different shells or the same shell, it's not going to be the same either. So that's what people don't think and don't know and don't want to know. I was talking to one of my colleagues today. It's like, how could I say it? It's like, well, I just lost the audio, but you can do the same thing. You're not going to have the same result at all. but you gotta practice yourself. You gotta know your thing, and you gotta be confident with your shot and everything. So,
and you bring up a valid point. Like a lot of times we see online people say, hey, does anyone else shoot a Super Black Eagle 2 with a Kicks High Flyer choke? What ammo are you using that patterns really well? Well, you know what? Here's what I use. It patterns really well for me. I have the exact same gun, same setup as you, but use that as a base starting point. Don't go and just be like, don't ask on a Friday night and hunt Saturday morning. Like actually go out and see, make sure that, yeah, that is right. Because you know what? My son's gun, we got it and it was shooting like 6 inches low, and you got to shim that gun, make that gun fit you too. Right. So make sure you pattern before you go out. It's the best thing we can do for those animals out there.
Yep.
Yeah. And I think that's a good thing that sort of kind of get your head wrapped around, is that, you know, the gun, the ammo, the choke tube, and the user, all 4 of those things need to come together, right? Like not one thing. Like you could have, like, and I won't get into brands of guns, but there's some guns that people think are high end, and then there's some guns that people think that are on the bottom end. Listen, you can be just as good a shooter with a bottom end gun as opposed to a high end gun.
I'm going to use the best example for this.
Yeah.
We're going to take Ellie, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Ellie has under and over from 2000 to, I'm not going to say the price. I know them, but I'm not going to say the price. Okay.
Yeah.
He shoot every gun he can shoot. Okay. And he took yours when we were shooting. Yeah. Did he burn them clays or not?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then he took mine.
Yeah.
He burned them all too. And then he took like a Remington 870, the Express one. He's going to burn everything. It's like I said before, it's the jerk behind the trigger. After that, you just got to adjust to the machine.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So if you want to go back to Mark, for example, because Mark, I think he wants to talk.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm enjoying the show here now. Half of what I've been thinking about it gets lost in the discussion, because it's things that I think about, and then you guys already talk about it. So
okay,
keep going.
Yeah, no, but that is a good point, because you know, I get invited to come down to the Montreal Ski Club, which, you know, is a bit of a big deal. And so Bill Kennedy says, listen, you're not going to go down with that semi-automatic that you use to shoot birds down to the Montreal Ski Club. Here, buddy. So he gives me this silver pigeon, beautiful over under. And I'm like, wow, yeah, nice. And I go down to the Montreal Club. First off, Ellie has to show me how to put it together, because I'm not putting it together.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah. I'm trying to get it put together, and Ellie's watching me, and he finally comes in and does it. So I can't hit a friggin' thing with this gun. And I'm like, I don't know, this gun, it's not for me, or it's not fitting me right, or whatever, right? And I think with most people around, most people would agree, and they'd be like, yeah, the gun doesn't fit you, or whatever. But he picks it up, just grabs any old gun and just starts smoking clays. You know what I mean? Now, when I grab my own gun and we go do 5-stand, I'm bang on, I'm good. Yeah. But it just goes to show, like, so I'm comfortable with my gun. I can use it, but it's only because it's my gun and I'm comfortable with my gun. Meanwhile, you can give Ellie anything, and he's gonna
adjust himself. Yeah.
It was wild.
Last time I went, he rented me as for a 2 or 3 shot. I was like, can I try your gun? Like, just holding like that Bugatti in my hand. I was like, it's not a Bugatti, but it's like, it was like I was driving a Bugatti. Like, it's like, man, this gun it's magic. I shoulder it. I'm like, no, I'm not comfortable. It was too short for me. So I missed like 2 out of the 3 shots I made. He was like, this gun is not made for you. I'm going to give you your gun back. Shoot the same clay right now. Bing, bang, boom. I had those 3. So it's like, you got to fit to your gun for sure,
Yeah.
but you can adapt to it if you're at the master level for something, you know?
Yeah.
It's
Fair
it's
enough.
not a science, it's practice, and it's like technical.
Yeah.
While we're talking about skeet shooting,
Yeah.
can you talk about what handicap load is?
Handicap load is it's a 3 dram of powder with 1 ounce and a eighth of BBs, either in 7, 7.5, 8, or 9. Challenger doesn't do 7, so they does 7.8. They does 8 and 9. So that's the difference between a normal target load for sure. For example, that it's 3 3/4 dram. The only thing where they call it handicap and they put 3 grams of powder in it, it's to help the semi-auto shotguns to cycle it. Because some of those shotguns are made for hunting loads or 3.5 inch, so longer length of action, and they need a little bit more punch to do their action to eject the load and reload the gun. And then Challenger can do light loads. So light loads, for example, just to be sure, it's going to be 1 ounce instead of 1 ounce and a eighth. So less lead to push, less recoil you have, so less the action's going to make this job, you know? So for a semi-auto, I always recommend handicap, so you're going to be sure your gun is going to cycle the load after each shot. You're going to be able to do a repeat at the sporting parcours, or a 5-stem, or even a double or a triple, or if you put 5 shells in your gun, you're going to be able to shoot all the 5 shells right away. So that's why it's called handicap. It's to help the semi-auto do the job, do the action.
Yeah. That was something new that you taught me there last year when we first talked.
Yeah.
You're like, you got a semi-auto, gets handicap load, and we've never had that here. I don't even know what that was. So it was kind of new to me, and now that I have it, it's like, this is awesome. Good, thanks. So I wanted to make sure everyone else knew about it.
Yeah, Challenger calls it handicap to make a difference between their normal target load and target load with 3 grams of powder in it. So that's why they call it handicap. But you got the same thing in Remington, Federal, Kent does it too. They only changed their name a little bit to get 3 grams of powder. So for example, you're going to a club to shoot some clays, and they're asking what kind of shells you want to buy. You want the 3 grams of powder. You don't want the 2 3/4 if you got a semi-auto. Oh yeah, for sure. I assure the ears of my friend is like whistling right now. He shoots no Belgium Auto 5. This gun it's a machine. It's a tank. He's gonna eject everything, but we're talking about an Auto 5 Belgium from 1965. So it's not the same thing as our new gun that are made for waterfowl load and heavier load. That's why.
Unless you have a gun like mine, which will shoot literally anything. I can load up a 2 3/4, 7/8 ounce load.
Okay.
Follow it with a 3.5 ounce and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And then throw a friggin' turkey load in there if I want, a 2 ounce. And I can fire all 3 of them, no problems every time.
7 and 8 ounce, yeah.
I can put any of those.
What gun do you have? What gun do you have? Versamax? Okay.
Versamax.
Okay.
I'll shoot anything. But
that is
Charlie,
the most,
like you said,
that's the only gun that can handle the hypersonic.
Yeah, but why?
yeah.
Boy,
shoot at 60 plus birds.
Yeah.
If you can't decoy them, hypersonic them.
I've used hypersonic in my life, and I've learned I can handle recoil. I'm not a small guy. I'm 6 foot 240. I can handle recoil. But what I learned over my brief hunting career, I'll say, is that your follow up to your second shot is so important, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you might knock it down on the first shot and you want to go for another bird. A 3-inch at say 1450 with 1 1/4 ounce out of my gun is very light recoil. So you knock it down, there's barely any movement. So you're moving, your eyes are already on the first bird's going down, your eyes are already on your second target, and you're moving to it. With that 3.5, let's say hypersonic at 1,700 feet per second, pushing the same load out. There's a recoil.
Yeah.
You're not a big guy. There's a recoil, and then you got to move further to get to that second bird. Right?
And you gotta move out of the fireball.
And depending on the gun you're using, it beats the living shit out of your gun, because I used to have a Weatherby SA08, which is a Turkish-made Weatherby, and it would loosen that gun up.
Yeah, that's why it breaks good.
Thread lock everything, put it all together again. It would still loosen it up. It didn't matter. So
too much pressure. They put the maximum pressure a gun can handle in those shells. That's why.
And that's a good point that you brought up too, Mark, because like I was the dude that shot 3.5-inch shells, and I didn't shoot 4-inch because they weren't made. Do you know what I mean? And then, you know, I was hunting, not having a whole lot of success, especially on those, on that second shot and stuff. And Mark was like, why don't you go down to a 3-inch shell? And I'm like, well, I never really thought about going down to a 3-inch shell. I just went with a 3.5. And he was like, try a 3-inch shell. And that's what I shoot now. And it's made a ton of difference. Just dropping that much. I haven't changed the payload or you know, shot size or anything like that, but just that 1/2 inch has made a huge difference, especially for that follow-up shot, right? And you know, one time to sit down in a blind and watch a fella triple on birds, that was unheard of. Like that would just blow my mind to see a fella hit 3 birds in a volley. And now, not that I do it all the time, but I have done it. It's not a common occurrence, but I have hit 3 birds.
Once, and it never came back. Right?
I've done it a couple,
so it counts.
Yeah, I've done it a couple.
It was 3 times on the one bird.
I've seen guys hit all 3 birds, yet they still all flew away.
That's miracles.
5 bird.
Yeah.
Or you got the guy that shot 5 birds out of 3 shells.
Yeah.
We're all flying.
Oh, we all know a fella that 5 birds drop, and he shot every one of them.
We're talking about like the 3.5 shells and why don't make 4-inch shells, but the 3.5 shells were made a bit because to make competition to the 10 gauge that was getting a bit of a popularity. So sorry, I can make
popularity.
There you go.
Yeah.
And then the company says, okay, we're gonna make 3.5-inch shells, so it's gonna be more affordable. So we're gonna get like this. Yeah, it was one of the reasons they made 3.5-inch shells to like put competition to the 10 gauge, and because 10 gauge, go buy a 3.5-inch shells, box shells of 10 gauge. How much you think you're gonna pay?
Well, we used to hunt with Sasha, Mark, and that's what, like, that was a goddamn cannon. That's what that was. And
it's a thunder stick.
Yeah. Oh man, and no ear probe, no ear protection. A 20-year-old, a 20-year-old kid that's deaf. Sasha, I'm not sure.
He was using it at 15 and 16. So.
Yeah. Sasha, not sure if you listen to this show, buddy, but if you do, there's your honorable mention.
It's like shooting a tank. It's like getting a tank shooting right beside you. It's a boom that you never want to hurt again.
We had a guy.
What you were saying. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Along with what you were saying, Francois, the 10 gauge was one reason for the 3.5s, but also when they switched over from lead to just steel. Yep. Steel at the time had shitty performance, right? They didn't catch up to it in WAD technology and patterns and all that stuff. They didn't have all that going at the time. So what they did, another reason for the 3.5 was they just added more. So they made it 3.5 essentially, just to increase the payload, right?
Yep.
Awesome.
More mosquitoes to the target.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of more mosquitoes to the target. Dave, what were you going to say, buddy?
Oh, when you were talking about like the loud shooters, and I don't know if this guy listens or not, but we would be hunting And they were like opening day, someone messaged me. They're like, man, someone's out here with a 10 gauge. And I was like, oh, crazy. Like I had to work that day this year. So then I got to go out the next day and I heard it and I was like, So then we drive in and I saw the guy that was hunting, and it's actually a guy that he's still using his turkey choke in his steel. And I was like, whoa. So I asked him about it.
In it. I think it's because it's welded in it.
Yeah. I asked him
it's not coming out.
Man, that's going to turn. Have you ever seen those like the videos where you see the guy smoking the cigar and it goes like that?
Yeah.
Like, man, you're going to do that to your gun. He's like, oh, it hasn't happened yet. It's not going to happen. I'm like, oh, Jesus, you wait, boy. You wait.
I'm sure there's a balloon in his I'm sure there's a balloon on the rib or something on the cannon or something, because damn. No, you can't shoot. You can't shoot steel in those tight pattern turkey. It's both of my turkey choke are like .655 and .670. Yeah. And if you go, for example, I'm shooting kicks. I only shoot chokes. And if I go in my modified or something, it's like I got the chart in here. Just give me a second just to be sure. For example, my modified, it's .723, and I put BBs into it. I'm not gonna put BBs into a .670 or a .655. Man, it's gonna blow out my gun for sure, or it's gonna weld it down. Two things.
Yeah. So the other thing with steel that people talk about all the time, and I don't think we have time to get fully into it because we're kind of coming up to the end of it, but people always talk about how steel will ruin barrels, especially older barrels. To anyone that wants to see something, there's a YouTube channel that our good friends at Wolverine Supplies told me about, and it's TGS Outdoors, and they did a study on shooting steel through older barrels, and it's a great YouTube series. Check it out if you want to know whether you can shoot steel out of your barrel. We're also not making the suggestion because if it turns out that it ruins your barrel, I don't want to be at fault there. So
yeah. No, and you know what? Something good to end on, and you are right, Dave. We are coming up on to the end of our time here. You know what? Great little topic to end on, and something that I think we need as much as we can. Education is the way forward, and education on so many things. So education on the science of your shot shell, the education on the science of your gun, and the education on being a decent human being as a hunter. And these are all things that we try to touch on as much as possible. Frank, buddy, I cannot thank you enough for coming on tonight. You were a wealth of knowledge. I certainly learned stuff tonight. So I thank you. I thank Challenger for putting their trust in Punisher Waterfowl and wanting to join up with us and you know, have a mutually beneficial relationship. I love the product, and you know what? I shoot the product and I love it, and it knocks down birds, and I know Dave does as well. So I'll give the last word to you, but we'll do a quick little round table and we'll chat then. Mark.
Well, it's good meeting you, Frank. I've never been to Maribel. I hope maybe in the future when the border opens up again and we're allowed to get into Quebec, I can probably go visit the place.
You can go there right now. There's a turkey camp going on right now.
Yeah, for me.
Ooh, good one. Attaboy, good one.
But yeah, it was good to meet you. You got your wealth of information. I understand a lot of what you're discussing and stuff. I mean, I've researched everything with regards to hunting. That I like to know what's behind everything that I do. So it's nice to have you on the show and hear you share all the similar interests that I have with that. So anyways, good meeting you.
Dave.
Francois, I know we talk all the time, but maybe one day we'll actually have the time to meet up for a hunt and a beer or something. But you know, as Damien always says, surround yourself with good people, and you're definitely one of the good people. So thanks, buddy.
Well, I think it's my time, so I'll take it. It was a pleasure meeting you. It was a pleasure being invited. Anytime you want me to get back on the show, I'll be glad to do it. I like what Mark says about me a bit. So I got my interest. I got my point of interest as the same as you guys, shooting, hunting, the outdoor and everything. And I like, all of my friends will tell you, I like to know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to talk bullshit. Like I said, I have the info. I'm going to go look through it. I don't have the info. I'm going to be straight up to you. I don't have the info. I may get back to you with it. I'll try to find it and I'll say it to you. People are going to say I have a big mouth or something, but I'm going to say what I think and I'm going to say what it's right. I'm not going to bullshit anyone. I'm there to say like the truth. I found like what I was going to say. Today's with the internet, people are more attracted by like the beautiful false and everything, the beautiful like on through the beautiful like how can I say, it's like look, and but they're scared about they're scared about the truth. You're gonna say them the truth right in their face, they're gonna be like, no, it can't be, and they're gonna go back and go see what it's not true, you know. So people have questions, go come ask me, come see me, come at me or something. And like I said, ask me to be back on the show. I'll be back on the show for sure. I had a good time with you, and yeah.
Awesome. And you can rest assured you will be back on the show. Perhaps we should do a show at the Skeet Club in Montreal sometime. That way we can Mark, you can come down because it's a short drive. Yeah, it's a short, it's an even shorter drive for Merck. But Dave, yeah, you need to come down because you do need to meet Carl and Ellie and
yeah, for sure.
And Arno. It would be fun. Frank, you are 100%, like you said, you know your stuff. You don't bullshit. Listen, it is a quality product. Like I've said, I love it. I use it. It works for me. It knocks birds down, and that's all I care about. So if anybody that is around me, and if you want to try, I will give you rounds to try. I am that confident in this product that I have it here. If you want it, you just call me, and when the season starts, or even if you just want to shoot some target load, because I have some of that as well, I'll give it to you and let you try it. And I promise you, you will not be disappointed. But I don't just shoot one, try and you know, do something either way.
Say
with
3.
that, yeah.
Say shoot 3. Say it.
Shoot 3.
Attaboy!
Number 4s. No, number 2. Yeah, no, excellent episode. We've got a couple things that we've got to do. We've got to get that chart up on our social media that Dave was Frank was talking about, and for all of our new listeners, our new hunters, and even the experienced ones, take a look at it and really look at what you're doing and what this is saying. Maybe there's some discrepancies. Maybe you don't agree with it. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear your thoughts on it, and just have more discussion about it. So with that, this was episode 49, everybody. Frank, thank you so much. Challenger Ammunition, thank you so much for coming on, spreading the good word and everything. Next week is episode 50, the 1-year anniversary of the Union 0430. And we could not have even remotely come close to this without all of your support and all of the amazing support of all of these businesses that are behind me. So watch out for episode 50. There may be some stuff being given away. I don't know, Dave, maybe. Everybody, big love. Frank, thank you again so much for coming on. Surround yourself with good people. Look after one another. Big love. Until next week.